Welcome back to another video, everyone. In this video, I'm going to break down the difference between a margin account and a cash account. We are going to cover what is a margin and cash account, the benefits and drawdowns of each account, and which one should you open. So first and foremost, what is a margin account? So margin account is a brokerage account that allows you to trade with borrowed funds from your broker. So basically, when you're opening up a new account, you have the option to select between one of these two accounts. These are the main two accounts everyone focuses on. A margin account is an account where you can borrow money from your broker. Your broker provides you leverage, right? The second account we have is a cash account. A cash account is a brokerage account that allows you to trade with only your invested amount. So basically, if you open up a cash account tomorrow with $2,000, you can only trade with $2,000. But if you open up a margin account, your broker will allow you to use leverage. They will lend you money, right? So it works like this. A margin account basically works like this. Let's say you open up an account tomorrow with $500. Your broker usually doubles that. There's some brokers that, 4x it, 5x it, but typically most brokers double it. So in this situation, if you open up a margin account of $500, right, your broker will also fund you $500. Now, these $500 are not yours. The only thing that happens is you now get a higher buying power. So your buying power goes from $500 to $1,000. Now, if you were to fund your account, let's say $5,000, the broker will match your cash amount to also $5,000. That would give you a total buying power, stands for BP, a total buying power of $10,000. What does buying power mean? That means you can actually trade with a total of $10,000 if you have a margin account. Margin account, once again, just doubles your initial investment originally. Some brokers triple it, some 4x it, 5x it, whatever broker you use, they're going to have different limits, but typically the broker doubles the margin account. Now, what you need to understand with margin account, they're very, very risky, guys. Do not think that if you open up an account with 5,000, you're automatically gonna get this 5 grand. This is not your 5 grand. This is the money the broker is lending you, okay? Now, let's break down the difference between a margin and cash account. So in a margin account, as you guys can see right here, the minimum you need to typically open up a margin account for most platforms and most brokerages is $2,000. This is not written in stone. Some brokers are more, some maybe less, but this is the basic average. You need a minimum of $2,000 to open up a margin account. Cash accounts could be opened up with a minimum of $500. Some brokers don't even want a minimum for a cash account. Some brokers, they'll allow you to open up an account with $10, some $1, right? If you open up a cash account. So sometimes there's not even a limit. Margin account, there is a limit. There's a certain amount that you have to actually fund. Now, with the margin account, you can short stocks. So if you want to short a stock, you can do so on a margin account. On a cash account, you cannot short stocks, right? On margin account, you get something called leverage. You get more buying power. So if you invest $2,000 into your account, the broker will give you a total of $4,000 of buying pressure. So you can buy $4,000 worth of stocks, right? On a cash account, you don't get that. You don't get any leverage. So if you invest 500, you can only trade with 500. Now, the main benefit of a margin account is on a margin account, your money settles immediately, right? Your money settles immediately on a margin account. On a cash account, it takes 3 business days for stocks. For options, right? For options, the money on a margin account settles immediately, and on a cash account, it takes 1 business day. Now, what do I mean by settling? Now, what I mean by settling is, let's say you make a trade on Monday on a margin account and you put in $2,000. Let's say you sell on Monday, right, and you get $2,000 back. On Tuesday, you can use that $2, or the right away you can reuse that $2,000, because on a margin account the money does not have to settle. Yes, there's something called the PDT rule, which I'm going to break down in the next video. Just put that to the side. Let's just focus on the settling aspect. Once again, on Monday, if you buy $2,000 worth of a stock, right, and you sell it right away, you can reuse that $2,000 immediately with the margin account. On a cash account, right, if I have a $2,000 cash account, right, and I use $1,500 on Monday, right, let's say I buy a stock for $1,500 and I sell on Monday or sell on Tuesday, whatever the case is, I cannot reuse this $1,500 for 3 business days, because that $1,500 needs to settle. It needs to settle and clear for me to reuse it. So until then, I can only use $500. Now, obviously, it's different if you are trading options. Options, it's only 1 day with a cash account. Margin sounds phenomenal, and people are like, why not use margin? Why not borrow money from your broker? Your broker is basically giving you free money. Now, number one, the broker is not giving you free money. If you use your margin, or if you use the broker's money, the broker is going to charge you interest, right? It's not free. So if you start off with, let's say, $2,000 and you purchase, and let's say the broker gives you $2,000 as well, you now have $4,000 in buying power. If you use that full 4K, or if you use the broker's $2,000, you are going to get charged interest. So obviously it's not free. That's number one. The second thing is you get something called a margin call, right? And by looking at this picture, you guys should get a clear idea that a margin call is not a good thing. That's not something we want to see. And as someone first starting out, if you're first starting out in the market, please avoid using the market's money. Do not, I repeat, do not use the broker's money. If you open up a margin account, cool, but do not touch this money, guys. This is one way to completely destroy your account. Avoid doing that when you first start out. Right now, what is a margin call? Margin call is the use of excessive leverage with inadequate capital while holding on to losing trades for too long when this should have been cut a while ago. Right? So basically, this is how a margin call works. Let's say you fund your account of $2,000, right? The broker says, you know what, I'm going to match it. I'm also going to give you $2,000, right? Sounds great. Everything looks phenomenal. So you get a total buying pressure, you get a total buying power of $4,000. So you can invest $4,000 into a stock. Now, depending on what stock you trade, some stocks are more risky, some are less risky. Brokers have a certain percentage requirement. Let's say the typical percentage requirement is 30%. Okay, so let's say you wake up one day and you're like, you know what? I have this extra money. The broker's letting me borrow money. I'm gonna go buy stock ABC. So you go and you buy stock ABC and you dump in $4,000. You dump in $4,000. Okay. Now the margin requirement is 30%. What that means is if this value goes below 30%, you are going to get a margin call. So the way that works is, let's say your $4,000 goes down 30%, loses $1,200 approximately, right? And you go to a total of $2,800 left in your account. Once again, you started with 4. Out of that 4, you only own 2,000. The broker owns the other 2,000. Now, when the account goes down 30% or more, and it goes to $2,800, because that's a 30% fall, the broker is going to give you a margin call. Now, when the broker gives you a margin call, the broker is going to say, hey, listen, you need to either get this above 30%, meaning you need to add more money. So you need to either add more money, or you need to sell some of your shares. If you don't sell, we are going to forcefully sell for you to bring this up to balance. So at this point, let's just say you sell the full position. You're like, all right, it's at 2,800. Cool, the broker wants their money back, or I have a margin call. Let me exit. So you exit. After the 2,800, think about it. You are left with 800 because you have to give the 2,000 back to the broker. So please make sure when you start out, you avoid using margin. You avoid using leverage. If you over leverage, if you borrow too much money without having proper risk management, without having a proper idea of what you're doing, you will easily destroy your account. And we're not looking to do that. We are looking to grow your account day by day, slowly and surely, instead of aggressively borrowing excessive amount of money and taking on bad trades. So avoid doing this. We do not want to be in a situation to be in a margin call. We don't want to get a margin call. Now, let's just say we do get a margin call. The broker, as I mentioned, is going to give you 3 days, right? They give you 3 days to fund it. If they don't, they're going to take action. Now, what happens if this takes a huge hit? Let's, instead of it going down 30%, it goes down, I don't know, 45%. And the account value goes to, I don't know, let's say 2,100. At this point, the broker is not going to call you. The broker is not going to ask you for anything. The broker is just going to sell it. You're going to walk away with $100. They're going to take their 2,000. And you're left with $100. One trade completely wiped you out. So please avoid using this when you first start out. As you get better and better, you can start using margin.